Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to the Christopher Mark Show. How to tailor a lifestyle fit just for you. So today's topic, we're going to talk about pretty much, this whole thing about body count. When it comes to, particularly, when guys are talking about, females and whether it really matters, whether, you know, a woman has a number of sexual partners that she may have had, and how does that affect the relationship and otherwise. So here's my thoughts, here's my views on it. So from my perspective, I think that most men who are asking women these questions, first, let me say that men aren't looking at the whole picture. And what I mean by that is that, we're not looking at the whole picture because we're not looking at the fact that, um, you know, long ago, which was not that long ago, but it was really long ago, according to most people nowadays. Um, there was a time when women were actually non-promiscuous, non-flirtatious, not in uh, seek of male validation to the degree that it is nowadays. Um, it was a time where you might have met a woman and honestly she was viewed as quote unquote respectable. But what has happened over time is that, women had to endure um, just trying to find, a good man, trying to keep him. And so the only way to do that is to, okay, well, why did most women would ask this question, why did you leave me? Oh, I'm leaving you because um, this girl is good at oral sex, or this girl is good at anal, she's good at this, or she tried this or tried that. She's open to a lot of things sexually. And so that's why I'm leaving you. So now what happens is that women start to get to this place where they're like, okay, well, how do I, you know, keep a man? And the first thing you want to talk about is like, listen, be able to feed him, sleep with him, right? And so what happened over a period of time, women had to start to focus on, okay, well, now I gotta like become more and more desirable. And, so they feel like, okay, well, the less clothes I wear, the more that he'll stare at me, the more he'll want to be with me, the more he'll desire me, right? Then as time progressed, it became more about, her being, her sexual skills, right? Her, so basically the more people that she slept with, the more people that the more skills that she had, so because she had more skills in the bedroom, now all of a sudden, that's really the main thing, that's the main topic that women focused on at that point in time. Then enters social media. Well, now women can have the upper hand when it comes to men, so they can select from a huge pool of men and choose whichever one they want. They can choose any guy that they want, sleep with them, throw them back, create an OnlyFans, have them, subscribe, and eventually be able to make money off of them from them just being all over uh, their Instagram or Facebook. So now, bringing it back to current, you know, men are at this place where they're realizing that it's hard to find a good woman. And I'm gonna be honest with you. This is to my my fellas out there. It's our fault. It's our fault that women are the way that they are today. You know, and what I mean by that is that it was a point in time where we didn't show them what a real man is, what love was, how to love them. Unfortunately, they had to, if they didn't have their fathers, They had to find that through relationships and find out who they were through relationships. And so, as a result of that, men didn't really, men started looking at it like, well, okay, well, she's not my type, or she's been around the block, she's used up. You know, the problem is that it's nothing wrong with her as a person. She's still a human being, just like you or me. I think what happens is that for men, they're looking at it like, I don't want to be embarrassed. Um, but if you think about, there was a period in time where, Jesus even approached um, Mary Magdalene, and she was a prostitute, but he, allowed for her to help her and everything like that. But she was still a person. So, what am I getting at, right? What I'm getting at is this: when it comes down to men, this is for men, so I'm going to say this. Finding a woman that has a low body count nowadays is extremely, extremely difficult. Okay? I don't care if she found Jesus. All right? If she found Jesus, that's great. That's great for her. But the truth is that finding a woman with a low body count is nearly impossible. Okay? You have to be in a country where, pretty much if you're promiscuous, you're sleeping around, somehow, some way you're getting murdered. That's how extreme what us as men we're asking for. Now, am I saying that as a man you should just accept any type of woman? No. I think you have to look at, what does her way of thinking, her mindset, does that match yours? You know, do y'all have the same belief system, right? And where are you going with the relationship? What's the purpose of it? Is it going to evolve? Is it going to grow to another degree, right? And are you going to allow that to happen? And is it worth it? So those are like some of the key things to why you really want to focus on, you know, okay, who are you, what type of person you're looking for. But honestly, if you're at a place where you feel like, okay, well, that's not for me because I didn't put all this time and work into me being making money and, being successful and being the best thing on the block, I want to get the best that I deserve. Um, and I can honestly say to you that, what you deserve, most times is you just want someone that's going to support you, where she has, you know, basically some integrity, and that she's going to be there for you personally, and that you can create a bond with her. Right now, for some women, and this is to you, ladies, but it's to some women, the problem that they run into is that, and this is why men are so hopped on, the body count thing, is because they can't bond with you, right? Them bonding with you, um, it's hard, you know. And so for women, they don't really necessarily get insecure about, sleeping with other men. If anything, they just look at it like, oh, okay, well, I was bored. It was something to do, right? But for men, we value it because of our, all we have is our reputation. All we have is what we bring to the table. All we have is the value that we bring to the relationship in order for it to actually work. And so, whereas for women, the more men that she sleeps with, she slowly starts to break that bond, that ability to bond in more of a natural way of handling a relationship. So when you go to find that person that you actually wanted, like the person that you'd be like, oh man, he, for women, they may say this is the man of my dreams. When you find that guy, it probably is a lot harder to like, yo, how can I connect with him? How can I make this relationship work? So most times when you find women who have slept around a lot, the only way for them, and if they have a high body count, the only way for them to really be able to have it where men aren't really noticing it or looking at it is to find men who actually have a relationship with God. Now I know, you're thinking to yourself, it's like, well, what if I'm not spiritual or religious? Like, um, here's why it's important that a person might have a relationship with God, right? And whatever your belief system or whatever your spiritual beliefs are, it's just those things are for you. But the reason why having a relationship with God is important is because it'll allow for there to be some sense um, of integrity and some sense of forgiveness and some sense of seeing you as a person, right? Um, because truthfully, no one's perfect in this world. Everybody's coming from, multiple paths and struggles and, depression and everything that we're going through in life is just, it's a struggle that we all go through. And it's not easy, especially for women because, there's a lot of women out there where they're projecting being strong. They're projecting, hey, I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. Listen, I hear it all the time, and it's not true. I think the problem is that, women today just feel like if they don't have them not needing a man makes them more of a woman. But I'm just going to say this to you guys, like your femininity is your strength. And I'm going to say that one more time so anybody hear me, your femininity is your strength. So you have to keep in mind that, you know, even though nowadays it's probably very hard to find good women. And I'm not talking about good women in the sense of like, oh, I'm a good woman. No. I mean a woman who's actually practicing being a good woman when the dude's not around, who's actually wants a relationship to actually work and who actually puts the work in, and that's really the main thing. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like when it comes down to people looking at this whole body count thing, I'm gonna just be 100% honest with you guys, it's stupid. Because, as a man, if I met a good woman, um, I can honestly say that, and then we were on the same page as far as what we were trying to do. That's what would matter to me. And if she was going to be loyal to me, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that, I'm cool with her being with like 1,000 guys or 100 guys, something ridiculous. Like, no, because I think at a certain point, it's like, you know, what men have to fight when women have slept with a lot of men is that all of those men, and I'm sorry to be crass and be, very graphic when I say this, but a lot of those men, as they, um, came inside of you, that energy is still inside of you. So that's why with women, when they go to be in relationships, it's a struggle for them because now they're battling all these emotions. And majority of those emotions that they have inside of them stored up is not their emotions. And so you might meet a girl where she has a protocol of how to break up with a person. She'll cuss them out. She'll say, hey, this is not going to work. You get on my nerve, blah, blah, blah. Or she'll push them away. Whatever the protocol is pretty much how she survives. And what happens is that it becomes such a second nature thing that she doesn't realize like, okay, man, am I really getting rid of this guy? And it's like, yeah, you are. but you can't control it because it's a protocol. Once that button's pressed, it's just going to operate the way it needs to operate. And so, even if a woman feels how she feels about a guy, if she slept with a lot of guys, it's harder for her to really embrace the idea of, having a real relationship, building a real connection, building a real bond. Because now that man has to face all the men who hurt you. That man has to deal with all of the energies and emotions that are inside of you, right? And so, a lot of times women be feeling like, oh, well, my relationships aren't working out because I'm not quite sure if I met the right person. That's not true. Your relationships aren't working out because um, the people that you've connected with, um, they're still with you. And the sad thing about a man is that he has to battle. In the beginning, it's a genuine connection. You love him or like him in the beginning. Then once they get into the relationship, the woman will naturally start to compare. She will actually start to look at, okay, well, is he worth it? Is he different? Is he special? Is he unique? Right? Does he remind me of Jerome that I used to mess with back in the day? Right? Or does it remind me of Daryl that I used to, me and him used to go out to dinner because, he probably like, he suck his teeth like Daryl. He remind me of him. But truthfully, when it comes down to it, you know, you can't really control anything in this world. You just can't. The sad thing about it is that when women take on those energies, when they go to find a good man, they literally will destroy a good man, right? And the reason why women be like, well, I don't like a good man. I like me a man who's like kind of somewhat of a bad boy or somewhat this or that and the third. And it's not that you like a bad boy per se. You just know that all you know how to do is to get rid of someone. You don't know how to love them. You don't know how to appreciate them. You don't even know how to be a woman. All you know how to do is to get rid of them. How do I get rid of you? Okay, it's been 3 months. You got to go. It's been 2 weeks. You got to go. And I'm going to figure out a way to get rid of you. Oh, you hanging around too often, too long. You got to go. And so that's really what happens with women, and that's the reason why it's harder for them, because when they go to want that guy that they really want to be with, the guy that's like their ideal person, to be 100% honest with you, you don't deserve that guy, because that guy is going to require for you to be a different person. And the only way you will connect with that type of guy is if you develop a relationship with God. Because truthfully, it's like, without God in your relationship, that man has to battle all the men you slept with. He has to battle all the men you slept with. And that's why you hear a lot of guys talking about nowadays, where it's the body count thing. And, they're talking about it because really deep down inside, they don't want to deal with the aggravation that comes with a woman who has slept with a lot of men. The emotional turmoil that men have to go through as a result of that woman sleeping with a lot of men. And women, at once they go through that process of learning, because that's how they learn. Women learn from making mistakes. If you get lucky, and be fortunate enough to meet a person where they naturally just can watch and learn, that's different. But, for women, they learn from being in emotionally turmoil situations where they now can actually feel why this is wrong. But the problem is that the trauma has imprinted on their emotional makeup to the point where now they can't even function anymore. So when they go out, they got to put on a lot of makeup. They got to really make themselves look attractive, because in deep down inside they don't feel that way, because they've given that up. The goodness in them, that girl that they felt like was a quote unquote innocent flower, that version of them is gone. And so now when a guy might come up to you and say, "How many men have you slept with?" She's going to say, "That's none of your business." And to be 100% honest with you, she has 100% right to say that's none of your business. But here's the reason why that man is asking. Because he knows that once he delves into who you are, um, he has more to lose than you. He has more, and I'm gonna say that one more time, ladies, so you hear what I'm saying to you. A man has way more to lose. Let me tell you why. Because women are used to being emotional. When a man is emotional or he's vulnerable in that sense, that's not a normal thing for him. That's only he's only that way because he actually has a genuine attraction to you. So it's not a common thing for him to be emotional. So if he's emotional, that means that he's thinking about how he feels about you. He's also thinking about how you affect him, and he's also thinking about the money that's going to go into you, right? And what is he going to give up? So that's why you find a lot of dudes where they get into this space where they're like, man, well, she's just not she's not the person for me. She's not the person because she slept with, like, too many people. And if she's not, then that's okay. If you can't, because no one's perfect. No one's perfect. The thing about it is, for women, is that they don't, again, like I said, it's like they don't really, how they learn is really as a result of how we as men said this is what we like. We like the girl with the daddy issues. We like the girl that is emotionally all over the place, who's in the strip clubs. We like those girls. We desire those type of women. And when we meet the girl that's actually a good girl, we don't want her until we're ready. But it's like that woman that you met, or that time period where you met her, if you don't catch her at that time, chances are it's like she's not gonna be the same person no more. She's just not. And by the time she gets back to that place, it'll be too late. It'll be too late because you're in a different place, or just time has just went by and it's just too late. So I'm going to close this out in saying that for fellas, I want you guys to understand that if I understand that if you're working on yourself, you're making money, you're making moves, that you're at a place where you're like, man, I feel like I deserve the best thing in the world, and you're not wrong for that. Because I mean, there's a lot of lonely nights, a lot of sacrifices you got to make as a man that people will just never acknowledge you for. So you might as well at least get what you want, right? If you want a beautiful woman, cool, get a beautiful woman. But all I'm saying to you is that um, women, if you want a good woman, you have to first see if you can find a woman that's willing to be, if she's not at a place where she understands how to be a good woman, if she's willing to be groomed into being a good woman, if she's willing to, because some women aren't. Some women, you ask them about their body count, they be bragging about it like it's cute, and it's not. It's not cute, because the truth is, at the end of the day, it's like what you think is cute. You think it's cute because you're young. You think it's cute because you got friends around you, and you think it's cute because really, that's all you are, is that body count. But if you take that away, if you really look at it, like, most people aren't looking at who you are as a person. It's not an achievement. It's not an accomplishment. It's really you not having self value. I'm going to say that one more time. Not having self value. If you don't have self value, then you're going to always be in a place where you're going to feel like, oh, well, me giving myself away to this person or that person, or they wanted to sleep with me. Yeah, but they won. They won. They got to sleep with you and they moved on with their lives, right? The person who really wants to stay with you, that person is not getting the best of you because now that person is being compared to all the other guys that you slept with. And they're not even valuable anymore. And to be honest with you, ladies, men struggle with a lot of insecurities. We just do. We're not perfect. Like I said, men, we we struggle with a lot of insecurities, and we go through things that, again, most people just, won't understand, you know. But fellas, if you really want a good woman, she's not gonna be perfect. All right. Now, if you can find that ideal girl that hasn't have a lot of bodies on her, cool. More power to you. But just ask yourself, is she um willing to be submissive, willing to be a woman that'll support you? And not only that, are you going to support her? Is she going to be a woman that is willing to embrace her femininity or just project her idea of masculinity on you? And for ladies, I just want you to understand that, what I'm saying to you is not to make you feel any less than. It's to help you to understand that the options that you have, okay? If you don't slept with a lot of guys, look, you banged a lot of guys, okay? Now what you have to decide is, what are you going to still be that same person? And the only way you can change that is if you develop some type of spiritual relationship, right? Or you become more on a spiritual path. If you're not on that spiritual path in some way, shape, or form, I'm telling you right now, the guys are just going to look at you. They're going to look at you, and they're going to look at what you did, and then you're just going to fall into the category of, oh, okay, she's just a hoe. And I know that that doesn't feel great because you're human, just like everybody else. But at the same token, it's like our actions have consequences. So as a female, your actions have consequences. And your actions affect how much you're able to love the next person, how much you're able to give to them, how committed you are, how loyal you are, and how much are you willing to be submissive to that person and embrace your femininity. Long ago, again, there was a time where there were women who dressed like ladies. That time period is so far gone right now, but um, all I want to say to you both is, as for women, just give yourself a chance to be a better version of yourself. If you made mistakes, you made mistakes. Don't worry about that. All right. But the goal is to move forward. And to fellas, we got to take responsibility for what we were asking from women. All right. And honestly, also that, not to set unrealistic standards. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if she really loves you, if she's really going to be loyal to you, she's going to be loyal to you. But the truth is that you don't want a woman to be loyal to you because you're just a man. You want a woman to be loyal to God. If a woman is loyal to God, she will know how to love you. She will learn how to respect you because she has to learn that. And I'm going to tell you right now, despite However good of a man you are, you cannot teach it to her. All right? But the only way you could teach it to her is through God's word. Now, I'm not saying that at the end of the day, whatever you believe is whatever you believe. But y'all need some type of spiritual bond in order for the relationship to work, despite both of your paths, or despite your past or her past. You need some type of spiritual bond in order for y'all to stay connected. I love you guys, and I appreciate you listening to the Christopher Mark Show. I hope you guys enjoyed, and tune into our next episode. We will talk about, I'll be giving out some advice, some hardcore advice to my men out there. Then I'm also going to be giving another one after that one. We're going to be talking strictly about for women. So just giving women advice and men advice. All right. So tune in for that next one, and I will talk to you guys soon. I love you guys. Peace.